The coronavirus, many of us are wondering why we have to go through this globally. It's a global phenomenon. And what are we experiencing through that? One is, most important one, is the breath leading to life or death. If you breathe, you live. If you don't breathe, you die. So the breath symbolizes life. So you can ask so many questions about this virus, why it is there, and what is the lesson or lessons that we have to learn from this. The most important lesson that we have to learn is to understand the precious value of life. Only when we face death, we understand the value of life. Until then, life becomes just whiling away time. And now, when you watch the television, you see the pain of people going through. I mean, everybody is afraid of death. There are no ventilators, and that will keep you living until you don't no longer need it. So it's important that we focus on the breath. The one teaching that the Siddhas teach is observe your breath. The Buddha also said the same thing. But the breath is not just watching your inhalation and exhalation. The oxygen going in and then the carbon dioxide getting out is not that important. It is important to keep the body alive, the brain alive. But then you won't know prana. The prana is the life, not oxygen is not the life. Prana is the life. And which starts at the bottom of the spinal column or within this subtle body. It is at the Muladhara. And then it gets cut off at the Swadhisthana. And then you can pick it up at the Muladhara, at the navel chakra, the Manipura chakra. And then it goes to the third eye and then the crown chakra. The purpose of life is to understand life itself. And our lives have been spent without understanding what life is or what life force is. We are here on this earth plane to know about life, the life force. To know about the life force is to know about God. And we have completely marginalized God in every walk of our lives. People don't even think that there is God. Even when you just present God as life force or prana, which is more acceptable to the inquiring scientific mind. And how many people are able to do that? Not many. It is because we have completely banned God, like a travel ban going everywhere now in all the countries. We have banned God in our life. We have banned Prana, understanding, in our life. And this is a wake-up call, not for everyone. Evolution is not, especially spiritual evolution, is not for everyone. The biological evolution has stopped, and now we are at a stage that God has given, or nature has given, because people don't like the word God. Nature has given us full responsibility, a great brain to figure out things. And we are trying to figure out things. We think that the ventilator is the answer. No, ventilator is not the answer. I remember the Bhagavad Gita, in which there is an argument between Krishna, the God, and Arjuna, the human being. And he is worried about death, and particularly killing his own kids and kins, just for the sake of acquiring the kingdom and material wealth. And he tells Krishna, the God, I'm worried, I'm depressed. Why do I have to care? And I just have led a very good life in the woods, meditating and acquiring siddhi powers. Fantastic life. Why would I want to come into this life, back again, living for just material gains? And Krishna says, you are worried about death. Now just find out, is there anybody who can live forever? Whoever is born is going to die. And it is a matter of time. The most important thing is self-realization. And if you miss that, then life is being wasted. They're wasting every moment. And it is 2:45 in the morning. And my sleep pattern has changed. And my own experience of sleep is very different from what has been before. It's such a bliss if I sleep. And if I don't sleep, it is also such a bliss. Having said that, it doesn't mean that I become not being useful to the world. When I am silent, I can do a lot more than when I am speaking. But then communication through speech is needed, unless you are at a very high level. Raman Maharshi would never speak, because there is no need. when you are fulfilled, then you will begin to understand life just not as sense gratification or the illusions of Maya created by the mind. And when we use so much importance to Maya, then you miss life. And then you die also. And people say, what if I die? Everybody is going to die. Even the enlightened beings are dying. But there is a difference. The enlightened being die consciously. They are not afraid of death. They don't want to be put on ventilators. That is our invention, that to keep us alive, to be breathing and living life without understanding what the life force is not life at all. And that's one of the reasons why we have been facing this coronavirus. That's one of the reasons. I can give you 100 reasons why it is there, and everybody will understand it in his own level. For instance, Donald Trump says that very precisely and emphatically that the cure seems to be worse than the problem, and the cure is inaction. For whatever reason, that inaction is in the form of isolation, because it will spread and then everybody will be dying. And then during this isolation period, there is no productivity. Everybody is just washing their hands, and how long can you wash your hands? And then there are places in India there is no water to wash your hands. And the water is so dirty too. This period of isolation, I'm not saying that you should not be in isolation. So we are caught up in a great confusion. The confusion is not being able to follow the yogic path or live like ordinary human beings. We have to balance both. Krishna gave a great path. He said, Yogastha Kuru Karmani. Do your work. But then stay in yoga. Stay in yoga means in the full understanding of your spirit, of your soul, of your Godhead. Karma jayo na karmanaha. Between action and inaction, action is better. So we cannot be without action. If we are without action, this is for ordinary people. See, this is in Karma Yoga. But if you are in an enlightened condition, if you are a true yogi, then you can be in action and then enjoy that. That's why they came up with this idea of after you're 60 or even earlier, after retirement, then you dedicate your life for self-realization. This is the model given to people in India, because the later part of our life should be devoted to God realization. So now is a great time, for whatever reason it is there. As I said, there are hundreds of reasons I can give you why there is this virus. At least one reason I want to share with you is to understand the nature of the virus. It can be understood as a demon. In order to do that, you have to have a heightened awareness where you will be able to see the demon. Like Jesus would be able to see the demon because he saw every disease as a demon. And he was basically a ghostbuster or a demon buster. And that is the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that disease is a demon. So that's one level of understanding. The other level that is more palatable for human beings is living in the 21st century is to understand is virus as a killer, invisible killer who is going to choke you to death. And it has tremendous amount of power to infect and then to destroy your lungs, creating death. To understand then scientifically, that's what the scientists are doing, to understand the virus, to understand how, nobody is teaching this, how this virus enters the cell, the immune system, how the immune system is fighting, and why older people are dying or become vulnerable because their immune system, their T cells and B cells are compromised. So this is a wonderful opportunity to go and look at reality at a deeper level. The one reality that we are talking about is the breath or the prana. The other is to see this is happening to us. The T cells are fighting and losing the fight and getting defeated. And if we are aware, if we had been given the knowledge of the virus and how dangerous it is, if it had been taught, if this knowledge was taught in schools and colleges, there will be awareness to protect our body from the virus. So that we don't even teach how we have, now that we know by washing the hands all the time, that how we are washing away if there are any viruses. So that we don't want to, we are not conscious of touching our nose and mouth and eyes. These are all taking place all the time. So that is very fascinating. For me, the most important thing is I've been studying the virus now and how to defeat it. Just not only strengthening our immune system, but killing the virus itself. But anyway, during this isolation period, how do you spend your time? The most profitable way of spending the time is to chant a mantra. And that mantra is say the name of the virus, coronavirus, nashi mashi, 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 coronavirus, nashi mashi. When you say this mantra, you will use speech at the nada level. The mantras work because they belong to the domain of the nada and discovered by the yogis. Nashi Mashi is the mantra, is the sounds or nada to destroy the virus. Collectively, you can do that in homes. Particularly, I encourage this for people who follow me from India. We live here in the United States where 2 trillion or 6, I heard that recently, but a total of 4 billion, 4 plus 2, 6 billion is available to fight the virus and fix things. Can you imagine that kind of money? Anybody can afford, any other country can afford, no country can afford that kind of money. But what you do when you are in a place where there are a lot of restrictions, but this mantra will substitute the lack of resources we have. It will work even better than all the ventilators. All that you have to do is just use this time and then say this mantra, coronavirus, nashi mashi, coronavirus, nashi mashi, at least 1008 times. In the morning, 1008 times. In the afternoon, and 1008 times in the evening. Maybe that is the reason why this virus came into our life, so that we can get back to God, our own nature, our own true self. We have never done this. Most people have never done a 1008 times the chanting of a mantra. And when you do that for 3 times a day, it's 1008 times is not just the maximum limit. There is no limit at all. You can do 10,000 a day. 10,008 a day, then the mantra will be much more powerful. And then you can do this mantra called Mrityunjaya mantra. The Mrityunjaya mantra is fighting death itself. And that's a very long mantra. This coronavirus, Nashimasi, is very easy, much lot more powerful. At least I want you to do that. If you want to do the Mrityunjaya mantra, there are a lot of videos on the YouTube chanting 108 times, and you can listen to that as well. So use this opportunity of this virus that has given us a 3 weeks isolation time, and don't spend your time thinking mundane thoughts and trying to figure out how are we going to survive, how are we going to take care of my children. Everything is going to be taken care of. The world has come to a point, has reached a threshold, and the threshold is to go to the other side and to know who we really are. Who we really are. This is not my saying. It is known in all religions. Who we really are is who? We are gods. Pretending to be human beings. And the body has been given to the soul to understand and to evolve our own divine nature, our own divinity. So use this time, and then we can be sure that this is going to end. This is not going to stay for long, at the most maybe a couple of months. And during the couple of months, it will get worse, and then and eventually we will come back to normal life. A very small percentage of people will die, and mostly elderly people. And that's a painful experience for the relatives. And that's okay. You can always handle that situation by reflecting on death. That's why I just said in the beginning that death is inevitable. It's only a matter of time. Some people live 100 years, some people live even 10 years as a child and die. And so you don't have to too much worry about death. Don't focus on death. Focus on life. Just observe. Just close your eyes during the isolation and keep focusing on your root chakra. The Kundalini will start raising by itself. and then it will reach the crown chakra, the Sahasrara. Even if you don't do anything, it will do. And the focus on Kundalini, which is your life force, will energize your body. The cells will come alive. And you can alternate between this exercise. You can do this exercise for half hour, 1 hour. Instead of chit-chatting, you can do this or chant that other mantra. That will be the best way of spending your isolation period. And I'm sure that some of you would use this time in a profitable way that will lead you to your spiritual life. God bless.